Hey everyone. So I was watching Gail's channel and saw that she was doing this. Well, I heard her say grungy tag and immediately my ears perked up and I'm like, okay, yes, I have to figure out what she's talking about. I listen to you, Gail, when I'm working, so sometimes I don't see what you've put on the screen. So, of course, like I said, that caught my attention, and it's by Piles of Paragraphs is the YouTube channel, and I will link her below. And the hashtag is Grungy Tag Challenge 2025. And I'm sorry, I have terrible printing, but there it is. And I was doing these tags anyway because an awesome viewer, Tiffany, watched a short I done a long time ago and had forgotten about tags that I made like this. Now these I didn't sew. In that little short I did sewing, but these I didn't sew. These are stamps. Um, but when I was making these, I thought, well, what kind of video am I going to call this? I mean, I just made a whole bunch of tags out of tea-dyed cardstock. And I thought once that popped up, that was the answer to my prayer. Okay, that's what you need to do. You need to make, because the prompt for January is labels. And I know that I have lots of labels. So I have 12 by 12 papers that I dyed during the summer. This one is tea dyed. I believe these were blue tea, and as you can see, I've torn them, so I think they're going to make great tags. Now they have some stenciling on them, which I think is beautiful, but they're pretty grungy just by themselves. These have some of the blue tea um, powder left. I'm going to take a little scrubby here that I made and see if that will... Well, I guess that's in the paper. Some of it's coming off, but some of it's just in the paper. So that's okay. We'll just have really grungy tags. So I'm going to cut these down to different sizes, and we're going to start playing. I think that, you know, of course, you don't have to do hundreds of... It's one tag per month, which, you know, I've said before, I have a real problem committing to things. It makes me panic in all kinds of ways. But I really think one tag a month I can do. So I'm just gonna work on cutting these down to different sizes, and then I will be back and we'll make some grungy goodness. Okay, so I got 22 tags here. Most of them I'm not gonna make, don't worry, I'm not gonna make all 22 on camera. But most of them are like 3.5 by 6. I wanted a pretty wide one this time because these that I made were smaller. They were 2.5 and 3 inches wide. I think they're 6 inches tall, but I like the taller ones. I like all sizes. It doesn't matter. There's some shorties in here because of the way I cut the paper, like this one, because of all the torn pieces. But look at all these cool torn pieces. I can make tabs and so many other things out of. That one's tore right in the middle there. So is that one. But none of this will go to waste. I'm going to have fun with that too. Maybe not today, but sometime I will. So I'm just going to pick out... Ooh, look at this one. It's got a nice stencil. Ooh, gosh, I love this grungy. Maybe I'll do that one for the purpose of the grungy tag. And then I may just do some more alongside of it because these are so simple to make, the stenciled ones. But I don't know if I'm going to make those because, like I said, I did do a short on those. And I kind of have in my mind that I want to use some things up. Like I want to use some music paper, and I think that I'm not going to cut mine until I'm ready because I like the fact that, you know, I might cut off a little piece of something I've stamped or whatever. So I'm just going to let that roll like it is. And I'm going to grab some scrap papers, some music, and also I'm thinking about, boy, I hate to cover much of that up. See, I think piles of Lora, I think is her name. I know I always get Lori and Laura wrong, but I think it's Lora. And she said the same thing. I have a hard time covering up one side or the other. So, with that being said, I don't know if I'm going to follow through with my plan now that I've said that. So anyway, I'm going to grab some papers and I'll be right back. So in just that fast, grabbing those papers, I've completely changed my mind. I'm going to save these blue tea dye ones for the stenciling because I'm having a hard time covering up one side. So I'm going to use the 2 tea dyed ones. And instead of music paper, I grabbed some of the book page where I did stamping, you know, my glue pages where I stamp. And someone had asked me, and I said I was going to write down who asked me where I could better acknowledge them in my videos, and I didn't do that. That was just a lie right off the bat, wasn't it? Okay, so anyway, I'm going to use these 2 stamp book pages on these. Ooh, that has some nice stenciling on the back of it. So I'll do it on this side. This does too. Okay. Well, of course it does, fool. You cut them from the same sheet. Goodness sakes. Okay. So for this first one, I love this. So I'm just going to, I don't know if I'm going to use the whole thing. Might as well, huh? Let's just glue the whole piece down to it. Yes. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get another glue sheet where we'll have more goodies. All right. So I'm just going to use glue stick. And I had another viewer asked me about using the glue stick, said they didn't have much luck with it staying down. And I'm going to be honest, I really haven't either. I normally sew, so 2 different spellings there. I normally sew around my tags, so it's not, you know, not a big deal if it doesn't stick. But I will say, this one probably won't because I just tore it back up, but as long as you use a whole lot of glue, and I mean, it seems like you've used way too much, it seems like it holds really well. And I have good luck with this Oohoo once, and same thing though, I had trouble with it until I started using more. I think that I forget it, you know, it takes quite a bit. So I'm going to glue both of these. I'm just going to use that whole mess right there, that even though it doesn't, we're going to make something good out of it. I did grab some labels too. I actually grabbed some that I hadn't fussy cut yet. I don't know why I did that. I should have done the ones that have already been cut. But why make it easy? Let's get where we got to cut it all out. And I want you to know, you guys, I appreciate your kindness. Had viewers tell me, you know, your card was showing. These cards that I use are junk. They either came in junk mail or they're forever old. The accounts aren't even there, or, you know, whatever. I know myself, I won't pay enough attention, and if it was actually a good card, I would probably accidentally show it. So I don't use things that I worry about anyone seeing the number on. But again, thank you so much for worrying about that, because that's very kind. Very, very kind. I love the kindness that you viewers show. Matter of fact, my grandson, he, We're going to save these for stamping. They do virtual school. So they, they wait on, I shouldn't say they wait on, they do live Zooms, okay? Well, today he was helping his little brother, and the teacher was late. And she's 10 minutes late. We've just been here literally just waiting for 10 minutes. We've asked for help. She's not even answering. He's going on. And Hayden is the kindest soul ever. So he doesn't usually get fluffed up about too much. But he was not feeling happy that she was late. And so I laugh to myself because, I think of all the times I wait on them. And they probably wait on me too. So I'm just going to get out some of my vintage. This is sepia, vintage sepia versifying. I like that a lot to go around the edges. But I had to laugh because, how much do we wait on just everybody? Seriously, we wait on people all the time. And I'm going to cut a thing here. This one's just made out of cardboard. It's a junk mail thing too. I'm going to just fold it in half because, flipping it over, I don't want to do that. That'd take too much energy. So anyway, back to Hayden was saying, pretty wadded up about it. And I said, well, she's human too. I know that sometimes we forget, we think teachers and doctors, nurses, whatever, they shouldn't be late. They shouldn't, I need this deeper. They shouldn't do what we do. We expect something more. But the truth is, they're just like us. And I told him that. I said, you know what? She's human, just like we are. Maybe she's having troubles. You never know what anyone else is going through. I don't know why I turned that, because I cut both sides so I wouldn't have to turn it. And he said, you know what? You're right. I didn't think about that. I don't even know. How did I get there? Why am I telling you that? Goodness. I don't remember. Honestly, don't. Why would I tell you that story? I have to cut the little nips off. I don't like pointy edges on my cards. I wonder if I could do it on this, if it would be easier for me to cut. We'll see. We'll try it on this next one. Maybe I was just talking about patience. I don't know. I won't know till I start editing the video and be like, oh, that's what I was talking about. Okay. So slow but sure. No, there's still little pointies there. I don't know why that bothers me. Isn't that funny, the things that bother you? Laura has a fit every time I leave a label on a plastic container that I show, and I could care less. But them little sharp points just drive me insane. And not Laura piles of paragraphs. Laura Tater Bear. She does digitals, beautiful digitals. And she's just created some more that are like rusty metal pieces and like keys and, why am I doing that? I'm going to round those edges. Keys and like door keys, locks, and I don't even know what all, but I know that they were beautiful. And I just got my ink cartridge yesterday, so I'm going to have to, after I print some fabric for Etsy, I'm going to have to go check that out. So I'm just inking around this. The camera shouldn't be shaking near as bad today. I've moved my camera back off my table, which I don't like to do because then it's hard to stay in frame. That's okay. So another thing, this has some goodness already on it. There's not a whole lot I'm going to need to do here. But there is one more thing I want to do. I say one more thing. I mean, one more thing as far as inking, because I really like this look. I do this sometimes for the metal pieces. I'll take rusty hinge and salvaged patina and just kind of go over the page, just barely. I mean, not a lot. I don't even know that anybody that gets it would notice. I just think it looks a little better. Love the rusty look, so that looks like some glue page there, and I'm going to leave it because that adds some texture and more grungy goodness. So not a lot. I'm just adding a little bit of color. And like I said, that was rusty hinge. Now I'm going to do the same with salvaged patina. Can you tell the difference? I think that looks neat. I think it just gives it a, I don't know, something, just adds a little something to put those colors in there. And really, I don't have to do much stamping because that's the beauty of these stamped books, you know, that you use. I mean, you already have goodness on here. I am going to get out my stamps again. I found these pieces, and I don't like to fussy cut, but isn't this beautiful? It's printed on tea-dyed paper, and I just love it. I just think they're beautiful, and I don't know where I got those from, so that's not a big help to you, is it? I'm thinking, I thought about using one of those, but I don't know. I just, you know what? I am going to. I'm gonna fussy cut one of these bees because they have kind of turquoise in their wings, and that's going to look really good with that background, I think. I hate to fussy cut, man. I'm like the worst. But the only thing I can tell you about fussy cutting, other than it's a pain in the neck if you're a very impatient person like myself, the only thing I can tell you that really does help is move your paper more so than your scissors. And that does make it easier. I'm going to leave some of the edge because I just can't. It just makes me all kinds of tense. My neck gets all tensed up when I try to fussy cut. It's not good. You know, I hear people say that they take stuff like this and while they're watching TV, they'll fussy cut. I think, dang, I wish I could do that, but I can't. I'd be so wadded up. I couldn't even focus on what I was watching. About to cut off his little antenna. Look at that. So I'm thinking, see, but doesn't that look cute? I mean, it's worth all the trouble, I guess. I just hate doing it. I wish, you know, a lot of people have those. My friend Laura has one, like, I don't know what it's called, but it's like you scan it and then it'll cut it out for you. And I thought, oh man, I need to do something like that. And then I found out that, you know, it's real picky about the outline. Like if your outline doesn't show really well, you have to draw around it to make it show up. Well, okay, that I don't want to draw around it. To me that'd be just bad as fussy cutting. So I think his little antenna is kind of crooked. So I nixed that idea real quick. You know, before I glued this down, I'm going to stop with the glue because I forgot the whole thing of the prompt for this month was a label. So let me try to find, what kind of label do I want? You know what? I have some stickers that look like, oh, you know what? Let's do something else. Okay, so I have some stamps that are like shaped like labels. And the reason I'm doing this instead of getting an actual label, I hope this counts, is because I don't want to lose any of my background. So, and these aren't really good ones, but I bet they count. If I could draw it all, I would just draw a label on there. But I can't. So I'm going to use one of these for this one. Well, maybe for both of them. That's the good thing about her challenge. Didn't seem to be many rules. I think the only rule was to make a tag. And that's my kind of rules. I like that. Any size you want, you know, kind of one of them. You just do you. I don't like that. We're going to try it. I think this is the reason I don't use a lot of stuff like this, because I really do struggle with covering things up. That's pretty. Okay, so that doesn't look very great. Look, got my bee stuck to my finger. But I think what I'm going to do is take one of my black markers and just fill that in. You know what would have been good is to color it in a different color, like red or something like that. Or blue, that would have looked good. Okay, so now I'm just going to, let's see about my bee. I'm going to stamp a number in there, and then I'm going to glue him over it. So why stamp the number? I don't know. I never think things out too far. I'm going to glue down my little bee. I want him way at the bottom. So what do we think? I should have put him up here, shouldn't I? Am I going to have to cut another bee? No, I'm not cutting another bee. I can't do that again. Well, yes, I can. Here we go. No, I'm not doing it. It will cover up too much. Maybe I'll put it on the other one. I wouldn't mind covering up just a little bit. The good thing about printing these on tea dye is, you know, most of my things I work on are tea dyed, so it kind of blends in. This next one, I'm going to try really hard to actually put a label. I'm going to tell myself it is okay to cover it up. What is it? I'm always saying there's always more, yet I'm having trouble covering this up. Okay, so this one in my mind is done. I'm going to put some black, probably something at the top. Hear Fred clicking? Or you know what? I have some of this yarn here. It's kind of a turquoise blue. Wonder about just using some of that. This is the yarn I used when I was doing that paper netting. Let's see what we got here. Not too much. We'll put something at the top. And this is why I don't do well mass making, because I see I'm already sidetracked. I was working on this one, went back to this one. I don't know where my little Q-tips are where I can get the middle of that. I think I messed around and cut them too short. I did. Looks kind of silly, doesn't it? What do you think? Yes? No? Ridiculous? I'm going to leave it. Okay, now I'm going on to this other one. And I'm going to be better. And I'm going to actually, I fussy cut this one out. It's a bee on a flower. It's really cute. And I'm going to actually get a real label. I'm going to use one that I've already cut. It's just silly to cut one when I have all of these. I like the ones, of course, with the numbers. I think I'm going to do it something like this. Not good with labels, am I? Or clusters. Kind of am don't have a very broad mind when it comes to things like, you know, gluing all the bits down and whatnot. So I'm just going to glue this down. I'm not even going to pay attention where I'm doing it. Do something I have to do it down here because I don't want to lose my stamping. Do it about right there. Trim this off. That's another thing. I don't know why I think my label always needs to be on the edge. It doesn't. It could be anywhere, you know. Maybe my bee doesn't even need to be around that label. It can just be up over here. I don't know. But I feel like I need some cheesecloth. Maybe that'll help me decide where things need to go. That just kind of blends stuff in better. And like I said, this cheesecloth, it is not good. It's all tears apart really easy. So I think I'm just going to glue it right there. I have some string. I want to use string too. I should have put string under my other bee. I wonder if I could still do something like that. Or you know what? I'm going to sew this. I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to glue it down. And then I'm going to sew along that edge. And I'll have this mess here. That'll look good. I'll do that. Wipe off some of that glue. Do something like that. And then I can't figure out what way that bee's supposed to go. Okay, well, I guess like this. Because if your little flowers are standing up, yeah, that's how it needs to go. Get some more, need some string. I don't guess these are really too grungy, are they? I feel like I let down on the grungy here. Because I've made things that were way more grungy than this. But she did say you could do a lot of grungy or a little grungy. So there is that one. I don't know if I really want this in here or not. Not loving the... I do kind of... But I am going to take this back out because I realize I want to sew around it. And I'll probably go across the top too. Wonder if this one needs more threads up here. I believe it does. Nah, probably not. Yeah, it does. I don't know. I'm going to go sew and I'm going to come, you know what? I like that. Like it's coming from the bee. Okay, that was an accident. I love it. So I'll do it like that. Now I probably can't get it to lay back down like that, but that's what I'm going to go for. Get out my little silicone spatula. All right. I love that. Do you guys like that? I think this might be a nuisance to try to put in a book, don't you? With all this thread hanging about. I don't know. I do like it though. So I'm going to sew around it and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've done so much sewing and I have so much thread on this one. I don't even think you can tell there's a bee. That's okay. I love it. I love the crazy sewing. And I wanted to tell you something. When I first, because I see a lot of comments about not knowing how to sew, and when I learned how to sew, you don't have to know how to sew. If you have a sewing machine, just sew. I remember when I very first started, and if I ran off the edge like this, because I try to stay really close where it doesn't lose a lot of writing, if I would run off the edge like this on the front, oh gosh, I just got all kinds of wadded up, and I would think it was just, I just can't use it. It's not good anymore. It is good. Use it, because that just makes it look, even if you're going for the grungy look, it just makes it look even better. It doesn't hurt a thing. And I know this because I wouldn't throw them away, but I would put them in my box. And when I would go back months, years even later, and I would see them and think, ooh, that looks cool. And, you know, I know looking back that I was real upset about it at the time and thought I had ruined it. you don't have to sew good, sew well, or how, whatever the proper. I know my English teacher would just die if she could hear me talk now. Uh, you don't have to be good at sewing to, in my opinion. So remember that. Some people, yes, they wouldn't like it. But there's always going to be somebody like me. I'm going to shred those because I like it better that way. There's always going to be somebody like me that thinks it looks great. So fray those up a little bit. I like that better. I like it more frayed. So I don't cut my strings off. And that's the beauty of junk journaling. Everybody's different. I know of so many people that the threads just drive them crazy. They can't hardly take that. I love them. The more threads, the better for me. But I also think without the threads is just as beautiful. I just love it all. So even if it's not really what you were going for or your style, don't think it's look at that. I'm just messing that up. Don't think it's a lost cause because, well, if I hadn't cut them so crooked, look at that. Because it's not a lost cause. It's beautiful. And honestly, like I said, if you walk away from it and come back later, you're probably going to be like, ooh, how did I do that? That looks cool. I have to remember to quit talking when I'm fidgeting with stuff or I can't edit it out. But I couldn't get this little piece up through there. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I'll like it if I just spray it and let it hang. And I do like it. I like all the craziness at the top. So I hope you like these. I intended on making a whole bunch more, but I'm too slow and it didn't happen. But this is my, what do you call it? My offering to, what was it called? See, I've lost my paper and I don't remember what it was called. Grungy. Well, I don't know, but it'll be on the screen. It's something like Grungy Tag Challenge 2025. But I will link Laura's video below, and I'll also link Gail's so that you can see what she's done. Or actually, I guess if I just do the hashtag, you'll be able to find everybody that's done it, right? Isn't that how that works? Anyway, I hope you like these, Laura. Thank you for the challenge. I love it. It's easy. I really feel this is something I can do. It won't put too much pressure on me, and that's what I like. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.